Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the main news on Camnet TV, coming to you live on Topstar channel 106, on Facebook Camnet TV, as well as on our YouTube channel Camnet TV. Here are the headlines in our news tonight. Bill 7 not beneficial to HH-MWEETWA. Zambia's exit from debt deficit creates fresh opportunity for economic rebuilding analysts. Zambia Fruits and Vegetables Association warns of early potato shortage. In international news, Sudan faces world's largest humanitarian crisis amid ongoing conflict. And in sports news, PATSON DAKA named WFP Goodwill Ambassador to fight hunger in Zambia. I will be back with the details shortly after this break.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260 763 062 680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodlands, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
With the news in detail, my name is Sylvia Zulu. Government says the proposed constitutional amendment, Bill number 7 of 2025, does not contain any provisions to benefit President Hakainde Hichilema personally. Speaking at a media briefing in Lusaka today, Minister of Information and Media, Cornelius Mwetwa, said the bill is aimed at improving governance, strengthening national institutions, and ensuring smooth administration of government programs. He noted that the key focus of Bill 7 is Article 52, Clause 6 of the Constitution, which currently requires a fresh nomination if a candidate withdraws before an election. He warned that leaving this provision unchanged ahead of the 2026 general elections could create political instability and a potential constitutional crisis, particularly if a presidential candidate withdraws close to election day. Government has since urged citizens and stakeholders who feel left out of the process to engage with Parliament committees on Bill 7 now that the bill is before Parliament.
Central to the presidential revelation of those lacunae was Article 52(6), which in its current form requires that where a nomination has already been conducted and a candidate in those elections, be it at local government level, parliamentary or presidential level, withdraws, then a fresh nomination has to be conducted before those elections have to be performed. And the nation's attention was drawn to the fact that in terms of our constitution, the date of holding presidential and general elections in Zambia is cast in stone. That is to say, the Thursday of the second week of August of that particular election year. Therefore, if a candidate withdraws just before those elections, there was a possibility, particularly if it related to the presidential election, a possibility of political instability in the nation. And in order to guarantee elections that will be predictable in terms of their stability, pursuant to our national desire to maintain peace and unity in the nation,
Economic analyst Yusuf Doja says Zambia's recent announcement that the country has fully emerged from debt marks a turning point in the nation's economic recovery efforts. This follows the global assessments that saw Fitch Ratings upgrading Zambia's long-term foreign currency credit rating to B negative from restricted default, and S&P Global Ratings earlier lifting the country's ratings to CCC plus C from SD/SD, citing improved fiscal stability and progress in the debt restructuring process. Speaking during an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Dodia explains that Zambia effectively slipped into default in 2022 when it failed to settle the first Eurobond of $750 million United States dollars issued in 2012. He said the breakthrough came after intense engagements with the IMF and the G20 Official Creditors Committee, which agreed to restructure the country's $3 billion United States dollars Eurobond obligations. Mr. Dodia noted that through its debt restructuring, Zambia avoided two major default risks: the $1 billion United States dollars Eurobond that was due in 2024 and the $1.25 billion United States dollars Eurobond that was set to mature in 2025. He said the successful restructuring restored Zambia's financial credibility and opened doors for renewed international confidence.
When we went into debt default in 2022, because of the first Eurobond, which was issued for $750 million in 2012, it became due in 2022, and we were not in a position to pay off that debt. We actually went into debt default. And in 2022 was when the dialogue with the IMF became very, very advanced in terms of debt restructuring. And as a country, and in partnership with the IMF, and of course in discussion with the G20 Official Creditors Committee, we were able to restructure the debt so that the Eurobond debt of $3 billion would be extended over a longer period and taking us out of default, because the prospects for Zambia was that the debt of $1 billion, which was taken in 2014 in terms of Eurobonds that were issued, was going to become due in 2024, and the debt of $1.25 billion, which was taken in 2015, issuance of more Eurobonds, was going to become due in 2025. So we avoided the 2024 debt default, and we avoided the 2025 debt default through debt restructuring. Now that means that Zambia remains as a country which is credible, as a country which the international community can be able to support in terms of further debt that the country might want. And clearly the debt restructuring exercise puts us in a place where we are not having to use a lot of our resources from the budget to service debt.
Government has dismissed claims suggesting that members of parliament are being denied Schengen and Nordic visas, saying recent delays were purely administrative and not as a result of strained diplomatic relations. Delivering a ministerial statement in Parliament, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mulambo Haimbe, clarified that Zambia's diplomatic passports remain credible and fully recognized internationally. He said concerns raised in Parliament and on social media created the wrong impression that some countries had blocked official travel for Zambian lawmakers. He explains that visa issuance is the sovereign right of each country and that most applications from Zambian officials have continued to be processed without difficulty. He says in a few cases cited in public debate, the delays occurred because the applications were submitted too late to meet the required processing timelines.
To start, the Ministry notes the concerns expressed by honourable members of Parliament, members of the public and the media regarding the alleged rejection or delay in the issuance of visas for members of Parliament. In the interest of transparency and to preserve cordial bilateral relations, it is necessary to provide a factual and comprehensive update on the matter, which I now do. A. Diplomatic passports and eligibility. Madam Speaker, diplomatic passports in Zambia are issued pursuant to Part 3 of Sections 5 to 7 of the Passports Act number 28 of 2016 and Cabinet Office Minute CO.4/1/1 of 10th May 2000. Section 7.2 provides that a diplomatic passport may be issued 1. To a Zambian diplomat accredited to a foreign country and their spouse, and 2, any other person as the Minister may prescribe. Madam Speaker, the integrity and credibility of Zambian diplomatic passports remains beyond reproach and continues to enjoy full recognition and acceptance across all international jurisdictions. These passports, Madam Speaker, reflect the sovereign authority of the Republic of Zambia and serve as a testament to the country's adherence to established diplomatic protocols and international norms.
The Zambia Fruits and Vegetables Association has warned that the country is facing an unusual and growing shortage of potatoes, a situation expected to worsen as the festive season approaches. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News, Association President Bernard Sikunyonga said the deficit has come earlier than in previous years, noting that December shortages are rare compared to the usual March to April supply gaps. Mr. Sikunyonga explained that while the demand for potatoes has continued to rise due to the country's growing population, production levels have remained stagnant. He said many retail outlets are already running out of stock, with major suppliers releasing only a limited portion of their reserves. He said the association has already begun engaging relevant authorities to find immediate solutions, including the possibility of temporarily allowing the importation of potatoes.
We have a shortage of potatoes in the country. I think, as you might be aware, that the production has not, increased, but the demand kept on increasing because of the population in the country. So all the time, I think people have realized that we do have a shortage for potatoes around March, April. But this time around, there has been constant demand for potatoes. Hence, the shortage was coming into December. And if you look at December, this is when we are starting the festivals. So we are starting the process now, so that quickly we can see how we can mitigate this shortage. Because during the festive, a lot of people, they use a lot of potatoes, and we do not want to found in an awkward situation where there's no potato in the country and the demand for potatoes is high. So we have started the process. I think within this week we should be having a solution of how we can allow the importation of potato just as a mitigation measure. This is very important because at the end of the day we might disturb people who had budgeted to use potato in their budget during this festival. So we are very mindful. We'll make sure that we cushion up this shortage within the shortest possible time.
The Department of Plant Quarantine and Sanitary Service, PQPS, under the Ministry of Agriculture, has hit its 2025 target by generating 18 million kwacha in non-tax revenue. Director of PQPS, Dr. Kenneth Msiska, disclosed the achievement during the departmental review and planning workshop held in Kabwe. PQPS credited its success to improved operational efficiency, strict enforcement of psychosanitary regulations, and enhanced inspection and quarantine measures. Dr. Siska added that the department will continue implementing strategies to sustain and increase revenue while urging farmers and exporters to cooperate with PQPS to maintain plant health standards and boost Zambia's competitiveness. Here is a report.
These are officers from the Ministry of Agriculture. They work under the Department of Plant Quarantine and Phytosanitary Service. The department has been scoring high in the generation of the country's revenue.
We have received very positive feedback. One, more are beginning to understand and appreciate the role that the Ministry of Agriculture through the Plant Quarantine and Phytosanitary Service are playing. But two, also, it's on the revenue. You know, what we do as phytosanitary, we provide a service on behalf of government. Linked to it is the generation of non-tax revenue. From 2023, if I can just speak to the years close to now, from 2023, our target was, of course, working together with the Minister of Finance, was about 9 million. We went above the target, about 153%. So we reached the target and went beyond. Going forward into 2024, the target was about 10 million. Again, we performed extremely very well and doubled the amounts that we collected. We're in 2025. This is November. We've just started December. We are already hitting the target. For 2025, it says 18 million.
Senior Plant Health Inspector Martin Siazemo says his department is here to review work plans and set new targets that are attainable.
And basically, what we're here for is to look at how we fared in the year 2025 and see how we can make amends going into the year 2026, so that whatever targets that we set for the year 2026 will be closer to what is achievable based on the lessons of 2025.
Ino Kimparo, who is Senior Technical Plant Health Inspector for Kapiri-Mponshi Station, explains the strides made in surveillance.
Yeah, basically, as a ministry under our department, we have a law under the Ministry of Agriculture to make sure that whatever is going out and coming in are on standard.
Central Province has been praised for doing well phytosanitary-wise. HH-MWEETWA reporting from Kabwe, Central Zambia.
Parliament has passed the Occupational Health and Safety Institution, or HSI Bill number 17 of 2025, marking a major step in strengthening workplace safety across all sectors of the economy. Minister of Labour and Social Security Brenda Tambatamba said the bill, which now awaits presidential assent, will repeal the Occupational Health and Safety Act number 36 of 2010 and usher in a modernized framework for protecting workers' health and welfare. She explains that the new law continues the existence of the Occupational Health and Safety Institute while redefining its functions and reconstituting its board to enhance governance and operational efficiency. For the first time since the Institute's establishment in 1945, its services will extend beyond the mining sector to cover all industries, addressing long-standing gaps that left many workers without adequate safety oversight.
The Occupational Health and Safety Bill, National Assembly Bill number 17 of 2025, third reading.
The Honorable Minister of Labour and Social Security, the Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill be now read the third time.
The question is that the bill be now read the third time. Any debate, any objection? The question is agreed to. Let the bill be read the third time.
You're watching the main news on Camnet TV. We'll now take a break.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral is viewed, valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
Thank you so much for staying with us. In international news, Sudan is facing the world's largest humanitarian crisis, with more than 14 million people forced from their homes as war, famine and disease devastate communities. The crisis erupted after a violent power struggle in April 2023 between the Sudanese military and the Rapid Support Forces, plunging Khartoum and several regions into full-scale conflict. Rights groups are urging all parties to halt fighting as the humanitarian situation continues to worsen. The World Food Programme's WFP warns that over 20 million people in Sudan are now facing severe food insecurity, with famine already unfolding in El Fasher and Kadugili in South Kordofan. Here is a roundup of international news stories.
In his latest crackdown on immigration, United States President Donald Trump has paused all applications from 19 countries his administration describes as high risk. It comes after last week's shooting in Washington of 2 National Guards troops by a suspect who's an Afghan national. The pause announced on Tuesday includes for green card requests and U.S. citizenship processing filed by people from nations already facing a partial or full travel ban since June. All 19 of the countries are non-European and includes Afghanistan and Somalia. Trump has stepped up rhetoric against Somalis in recent days, calling them garbage and saying we don't want them in our country. The new policy places a hold on pending applications. It says that immigrants from the 19 nations must undergo a thorough re-review process to determine all national security and public safety threats. Immigration lawyers reported the cancellation of naturalization ceremonies and interviews for immigration status, saying people were turned away with no explanation. Other African countries included in the ban are Chad, the Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Libya, Sudan, Burundi, Sierra Leone and Togo.
United States President Donald Trump will host the leaders of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo on Thursday to sign a peace agreement. The White House press secretary told reporters that Felix Tshisekedi and Paul Kagame will sign a historic deal brokered by Trump. Thursday's meeting is expected to build on 2 previous achievements, a peace deal reached in June and signed by the 2 countries' foreign ministers, and an economic framework agreed on in November. The upcoming deal will cap months-long diplomatic efforts aimed at securing peace in eastern Congo. The Congolese government has often said its signing of the deal would be conditioned on Rwanda's withdrawal of support for the M23 rebel group. Tshisekedi already confirmed last week his presence in Washington, but he cautioned that lasting peace in Congo's eastern region can only be achieved if people directly concerned are committed to achieve results. In turn, Kagame accused Congolese authorities of stalling the deal's final signature.
Sudan is in the grips of one of the world's largest humanitarian crises. Over 14 million people have been forced from their homes, disease is spreading and famine is taking hold. The nation spiraled into chaos in April of 2023 when a power struggle between the military and the Rapid Support Forces erupted into full-scale war. Rights groups are calling for an end to the conflict.
That's where we need the world attention right now, to bring an end to this conflict, or at least to bring some kind of humanitarian pause so that we can deliver, we can save lives, and start building ground for a more lasting peace. So, we appeal to all countries in the region and beyond that has leverage to bring this conflict to an end.
The World Food Programme warns that over 20 million people in Sudan are facing severe food insecurity as war devastates the country. Famine is already unfolding in El Fasher and Kadugli in South Kordofan.
Globally, we are up against what we call a perfect storm. We've never seen needs as high as this. 320 million people are acutely food insecure. If that was a country, it would be a very big country. 2 famines confirmed in Gaza and in Sudan. But at the same time, our funding is coming down. So 40% cut this year. And so we're really struggling to meet the needs. And on top of that, we are seeing increasing political complexities that we're trying to navigate. And it's becoming increasingly dangerous. Last year, a record number of humanitarians were killed.
The WFP says it's reaching over 4 million people each month in Sudan, yet the needs remain overwhelming, with millions still desperate for food and safety.
Polo striker PATSON DAKA has been appointed a Goodwill Ambassador for the United Nations World Food Programme WFP in Zambia. DAKA, who plays for Leicester City, will use his influence to spotlight youth empowerment, nutrition, resilience building and community development initiatives across the country. He will also support WFP programs such as school feeding, emergency response and efforts to build resilience in vulnerable communities. As part of his ambassador role, DAKA will actively engage with the global community to raise awareness about good nutrition and advocate for solutions to end hunger. Over the coming months, he is expected to visit WFP-supported activities and participate in discussions highlighting the importance of food security and its impact on population health. DAKA has built an impressive football career, starting with Kafue Celtic, long spells at Chinchanga Rangers and Power Dynamos before joining Red Bull Salzburg and eventually Leicester City. Well, that's it for our main news tonight. Here is a recap of the stories making headlines. Bill 7 not beneficial to HH-MWEETWA. Zambia's exit from debt defeat creates fresh opportunity for economic rebuilding analyst. Zambia Fruits and Vegetables Association warns of early potato shortage. In international news, Sudan faces world's largest humanitarian crisis amid ongoing conflict. And in sports news, PATSON DAKA named WFP Goodwill Ambassador to fight hunger in Zambia. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, coming from the book of Psalms 91, verse 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. That's it for our main news tonight. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Remember, you have been watching us live on Top Star channel 106, on Facebook Camnet TV, as well as on our YouTube channel Camnet TV. Thank you so much for watching. Good night and God bless you all.